Next, we are covering part 5.3 of our coagulation disorders series. We are talking about the missing superglue as we demystify von Willebrand disease or VWD. This is the most common inherited bleeding disorder on the planet. Let's look at our patient dossier. We have a 16-year-old female whose chief complaint is profound fatigue. She presents with menorrhagia, meaning her periods last longer than 9 days, with rapid pad soaking. She also has severe, unprovoked epistaxis and gingival bleeding during brushing. Your clinical focus here must be on the specific locations. The nose, gums, and uterus are mucosal surfaces, and notice there is absolutely no deep joint bleeding. When we pull her lab work, we encounter a true laboratory paradox. Her platelet count is perfectly normal at 250,000. Her PT, which tests the extrinsic pathway, is also normal at 12 seconds. However, her bleeding time or BT is prolonged at 12 minutes. Additionally, her APTT, which tests the intrinsic pathway, is mildly prolonged at 45 seconds. The paradox here is that her platelet numbers are normal, but her bleeding time is extended. Furthermore, the intrinsic pathway is mildly impaired. This means we are dealing with a simultaneously primary and secondary hemostasis defect. Let's meet the culprit, von Willebrand factor, or VWF. Genetically, this follows an autosomal dominant inheritance pattern. It is produced primarily by endothelial cells and stored in internal cellular walls called Weeble pallid bodies. It is also synthesized in megakaryocytes. Here is your core concept. To master VWD, you must understand its two simultaneous distinct roles in human blood. Job 1 for VWF is acting as the superglue for primary hemostasis. The mechanism here is that platelets cannot stick directly to exposed collagen. Von Willebrand factor acts as the crucial molecular superglue binding collagen on one side and the platelet glycoprotein 1b receptor on the other. The pathology of von Willebrand disease is that the superglue is simply missing. The platelets physically exist, but they slide right past the injury. Because the primary platelet plug fails, the clinical output is mucosal bleeding and a prolonged bleeding time. Now, job 2 for von Willebrand factor is acting as the bodyguard for secondary hemostasis. The mechanism is that factor 8 is a highly unstable protein in plasma, degrading in minutes on its own. Von Willebrand factor binds to factor 8, acting as its bodyguard to stabilize it and dramatically extend its half-life. In von Willebrand disease, factor 8 is produced normally but is rapidly destroyed and cleared from the blood without its bodyguard. As factor 8 levels drop, the clinical output is a mildly prolonged APTT, which indicates an intrinsic pathway defect. Now let's look at the diagnostic cheat code. The ristocetin cofactor assay. Ristocetin is a bizarre antibiotic that forcefully induces normal von Willebrand factor to bind platelets. In a normal patient, massive clumping occurs. In a von Willebrand disease patient, a von Willebrand factor is missing. The drug has absolutely nothing to act on, so the test fails and there is no clumping. This is extremely high yield for your exams. Let's put this into a differential diagnostic matrix for your exam preparations. For von Willebrand disease, the missing element is von Willebrand factor, which is the glue. The ristocetin test fails with no clumping, but when normal plasma is added, it corrects the defect. Compare this to Bernard-Soulier syndrome, or BSS. In BSS, the missing element is the glycoprotein 1b receptor, which is the binding site. The ristocetin test also fails, but adding normal plasma does not correct it. The key here is that adding normal plasma provides functional von Willebrand factor. If the platelets still won't clump after adding plasma, the problem isn't the glue, it's the broken receptor on the platelet itself. Moving on to pharmacology integration. Let's talk about flushing the reserves. The high yield drug here is desmopressin or DDAVP, which is an ADH analog. DDAVP triggers endothelial cells to violently degranulate their Weeble pallid bodies. This dumps massive hidden endogenous reserves of von Willebrand factor and factor 8 directly into the plasma. The superglue floods the system, the bodyguard returns, and the mucosal bleeding stops instantly. This brings us to our treatment decision algorithm. For mild or type 1 von Willebrand disease, which is a partial deficiency, we administer DDAVP. This flushes the endogenous reserves and the bleeding resolves. However, for severe or type 3 von Willebrand disease, which is an absolute zero deficiency, DDAVP is ineffective because there are no reserves to flush. In these cases, you must administer exogenous von Willebrand factor and factor VIII concentrates to resolve the bleeding. To wrap up, here is your masterclass synthesis for von Willebrand disease. The clinical presentation focuses on mucosal bleeding like menorrhagia, epistaxis, and gingival bleeding. The lab paradox shows a normal platelet count, but a prolonged bleeding time and a prolonged APTT. The dual defect involves the missing superglue as the primary defect and the missing bodyguard as the secondary defect. Your action plan? Diagnosis is confirmed when the patient fails the restostatin test and the primary treatment for type 1 is DDAVP. Coming up in the chapter 14 finale. You know what happens when a single domino falls? But what happens when the entire coagulation cascade goes systemically haywire? Millions of deadly clots forming with simultaneous hemorrhage from every IV site. Next, we will tackle DIC or disseminated intravascular coagulation.